tell me when y'all ready.
You guys all set?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, I have Louisville at home this week. You know, last year I think everybody knows just how tough a loss that was for us. With the circumstance that happened, you know, I think we lost 5 starters during the game. I think we lost either 7 or 8 players during the game, and then we lost our quarterback on the last play of the game, and that was a real, you know, tough deal there. You know, so this is a game that is very important to us. You know, I know Louisville didn't play their best this last game, but you know, we know we'll get their best. Their quarterback is one of the top players in all of college football. He's played a lot of football. He played really good against us last year. You know, if I remember right, their back was a little bit against the wall last year when we played them, so we know we can get their best. You know, we need to improve. You know, that's what I told our team. We did some really good things game 1, but there's a lot of things that we have to get corrected by game 2. So that's what we've been talking about. We're going to have to play good in all 3 phases to be able to win the game. Questions?
How much of an advantage do you think it's going to be that you had some extra time to prepare for Louisville? Conversely, on their end, they flew home and got home in the wee hours of Sunday morning.
Yeah, I hope it helps. There's no doubt a little bit extra time, especially being a big game, you know, for us. You know, that's definitely helped us, and you know, hopefully that'll carry over the game.
When you're game planning for Louisville, or you're watching film, how much of the film do you watch of last year's game, or do you kind of focus more on maybe the Syracuse game?
Yeah, I think it's all above. I mean, I think no matter, you know, if you played somebody before, you know, you look ahead and kind of predict what they're going to do. They'll predict what you're going to do, and then you kind of look and see what they've done this year. Maybe that's different than last year. You gotta be able to prepare for really all the above. Early in the season, I said this last week, your playbook has to be big. You've got to be able to adjust, and you know, they do a lot of different things defensively. They're very unique. You know, they move a lot and twist a lot and blitz a lot, and you know, you've got to be patient.
Speaking of learning lessons last year, you know, I mentioned Malik Cunningham. You saw him last year. I think you recruited him back in your day. And then we've been talking about the linebackers developing through camp. How much of a test do you think the linebackers will have trying to contain a mobile quarterback like Malik Cunningham?
Oh, it'll be a test for our whole defense. I mean, you know, he's like I said, he's one of the best quarterbacks in college football. I know that things didn't go as well as, you know, they'd like last week, but you know, he's a phenomenal player. We know that. I mean, we saw it firsthand last year. So not only the linebackers, the whole defense is going to play well.
When you look back at the film and considering the step up in opponent, how do you evaluate what John Rice Plumlee did, and what do you want to see him do differently this week?
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, you know, that was his first time, you know, playing really a full game in, what, 2 years. And so there's nothing like being out there, and there's a couple things he'd like to have back, but it's very important to him. He's really football savvy. He's a smart guy, and so, you know, each game I think you'll see him improve.
You touched on a little bit in your opening statement with Louisville last year. The game, obviously, the result was one thing. Coming home and having as many starters out as you did, how did you try to pick up the pieces and not let it spiral out of control from there? Yeah,
that was a real challenge. You know, there was a lot of adversity we faced in that game. I mean, you know, they slowed the tempo down. You know, every time we subbed, they walked on the field and walked off the field, and it really slowed down the tempo. And then, you know, the last play of the game when our quarterback got hurt, they actually called a timeout after we'd already snapped the ball. And usually in the last play of the game, you don't have one desperation play, and then they saw it and they were able to defend it. So there was a lot of frustrating things that went with the game, but you know, that's in the past. Our team rallied. They handled themselves like champions after that game, but you know, this is a new year, and we're playing at home, and we need to play good football.
What do you want to see from your wide receivers without the ball? Chip mentioned that the other day. That's maybe one spot in the first game that maybe could stand to improve.
Yeah, we just talked about playing better without the football. I mean, that's part of it. You know, we got a lot of new guys out there, new offense, and learning, you know, on the run. In the first game, we learned a lot.
Is blocking, is that something that always takes a little bit longer for receivers? Everyone knows how to catch sometimes, but coming in didn't.
No, I mean, I think the special ones, they play just as good without the ball, you know, and so that's really what we're looking for. And like I said, we got some new guys that, you know, it was their first rodeo with us with this offense.
You know, we saw Johnny Richardson, Isaiah Bowser run the ball. What do you want to see from them in this next game?
Yeah, I mean, they're both phenomenal running backs. They did a good job of holding the ball. That's the main thing, you know, and they've done that consistently. And both of them are different, and they provide a different, look to the defense.
You mentioned that the biggest jump for good teams is usually between this first and second week of play. What lessons do you feel like you got from Thursday night, and what is it in practice, as much as you can reveal, obviously, that you're seeing uplift to make that improvement?
Yeah, I think the penalties, were really the thing that stood out to me that we got to get corrected. So we're working hard to do that. You can't beat yourself, when you're playing a good team.
A couple players after the game on Thursday said that Louisville was a date they had circled on the calendar. Are you noticing a heightened sense of focus or excitement out there this week given the opponent?
Yeah, I think so, especially from the guys that went through that experience last year. I think you use everything you can to, prepare yourself in college football, and so, it's definitely an important game, for them.
Did Xavier Townsend, did he earn maybe the top punt return job, or is that to be determined?
We'll see. He did a great job with that, so we'll just kind of see as we move through the year, but, there's a good chance you'll see both of them, this week.
On special teams, mixed bag for your team. What do you want to see them do to improve?
Yeah, well, we got to protect the punter. The punt block was really the thing that stood out. We did block a punt for a touchdown too. That was really good. But I think we had a few penalties in the kicking game. We had a couple of really good returns. O'Keefe got near the 50-yard line, I think, twice, and we had two of them get called back. Obviously, we had the punt return that was electric that was called back. So, the penalties and protecting the punter really is the number one thing.
Now he's got some film in, for a week there too. How do you feel that the offensive line has gelled after a week of play there, and how good of an insurance policy is it to have a runner like John Rice Plumlee behind him?
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, anytime you got a quarterback that can help create, and helps everybody out, including the offensive line. And it was their first time to play together. The two tackles, our starting tackle moved to guard, and so each game, as long as we can stay healthy, you're going to see that group improve each game, and I think they got a chance to be really good.
Considering the physicality of that game last year against Louisville, what can your guys that played in that game impart upon guys that weren't in that game about the roughness of that match?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you're playing a good team, you better buckle up, and our guys understand that, and I think we'll be ready for that.
Were you surprised at the result with Louisville the other day? I don't think anyone saw that score coming.
Yeah. I mean, that other team got after them, there's no doubt. I mean, I watched it on TV, and it was impressive, watching what the other team did. But like I said, I think their backs were against the wall when we played them last year, and we got their best shot, and we know we will.
Well, Barsky missed the field goal with only 14 seconds left on the clock and going to half. Is that a situation, how do you feel about that situation for him? Is that a tough place to be in, or should he make that kick?
Well, I mean, the clock, you would like it where he could slow down and set his feet, but, we work, that situation. It wasn't like it was like desperate run down to one, and, I mean, we'd like to make that. He knows that, and he's a really good kicker, and I think he'll have a good year.
Was that much of a competition in August with Colton Boomer and Daniel?
Yeah.
How did that one go?
Yeah, it was a good competition, especially early, and Colton had a little bit of like a quad or something that kind of put him behind, but Daniel really came on. He had a really, really good fall camp, so I think he's set up for a good year kicking for us.
Riker Casey's handling the kickoffs.
Yeah.
What do you see in his game?
Yeah, we've got a fresh leg. He kicked, I think, all of them but three, into the end zone pretty good, and I think he's a weapon. Take a little bit off Daniel too to keep his leg a little fresher. At the end of the last year, doing both, we really had to watch him. I think he got worn down just a little bit, and a lot of guys that do both do that. So hopefully that'll help keep his leg fresh.
It was a year ago this past June, I think, when they initially said they were going to expand the college football playoff to 12. I know a lot of stuff has happened since then. UCF going to the Big 12, and now finally this past Friday they decided, we're going to do the same play after all. So what are your thoughts on that college football playoff expanding, and how good will that be for UCF?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just happy that the leaders of college football got together and did the right thing. It's best for college football and get more teams involved and everything that goes with it. I wish it was a little bit quicker, but hey, at least they got that done, and I think that surprised a lot of people that were able to get it done. So hats off to the leaders.
You mentioned Cunningham. What else about Louisville gets your attention?
They're a big stretch team. They do a good job up front. They got a lot of their guys back on both sides of the football. Defensively, like I said, they do a lot of different stuff. They got some good guys on the back end, and So like I said, their talent pool or talent level is pretty high as far as college football goes.
All set?
Thanks.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Coach.